After the whole War Dogs thing ended, I got sentenced to 7 months of house arrest. I was very lucky. Efren pled guilty too, but he committed another crime which invalidated his plea agreement. He got entrapped into picking up a gun by an undercover ATF agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and right before he picked up the gun, he said, "What can I say? Once a gun runner, always a gun runner." And then he picks up the gun, and that's right.
Oh, God.
And right then, the ATF agent slaps cuffs on him, and he's like, "You're a felon in possession of a firearm."
Why was he grabbing a gun? What was he doing?
So the way he got into that situation is because there was a 3-year gap between when they raided the office and when we got sentenced.
Okay.
Well, for the first half a year, they said they weren't going to charge us at all because they wanted the ammo. And once the New York Times kind of rocked the boat, they couldn't sweep this under the rug anymore. The Army was like, "Oh, we had no idea that this was happening. We're going to charge them with fraud.
Yeah.
We told them no Chinese,
Yeah.
and they delivered Chinese without our knowledge," right?
Breaking news, this comes from the affidavit that just surfaced on the Kohberger case. These details are heartbreaking. This comes directly from Brian Enton, who is on scene. Let me tell you how Kohberger has been linked and why they believe he is the suspect. The knife casing was left at the scene, and it is said to have had the DNA evidence of Kohberger. One of the roommates saw the killer, heard the crying, and the PD says that KB was linked to the scene through cell phone pings and DNA. It is stated that his phone was pinged and showed that he was at least in the area 12 times prior to the morning of the murders. And lastly, it is said that the Pennsylvania State Police actually took trash from Kohberger's home, and they were able to get his DNA and link him to the crime scene. Also, Kaylee's dog, Murphy, did in fact bark. It is heard on security footage from a nearby house at the time of the murders.
Start with one of the most shocking revelations in this probable cause affidavit, which I will tell you is more detailed than I would have imagined. It's about 19 pages. First up, we had a lot of questions about the 2 surviving roommates that were on the ground floor in that house. According to the probable cause affidavit, I'm going to read it for everybody. DM, who is one of the surviving victims, she said, DM stated she opened her door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. Now, later on in this probable cause affidavit, when they were able to determine that it might have been Kohberger, they looked at his license plate and noted the bushy eyebrows. The idea that someone in this house saw him is unbelievable. What's your reaction? What this lays out is the probable cause to the effect of there's someone here. They heard to arrest him. What is so eerie is to hear this account of the roommates. They heard people saying in the upstairs room to the effect of there's someone here. They heard one of the victims say that. They heard a voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," possibly from the killer. Now, Joseph,
Yesterday, 8 family members were found shot to death inside of a home in the small town of Enoch, Utah. They were all members of the same family, and police have determined that it was a murder-suicide. According to authorities, the bodies of 5 children and 3 adults were found inside the home suffering from gunshot wounds after police conducted a welfare check. Police determined that the father, 42-year-old Michael Haidt, shot his 5 children, his wife, his mother-in-law, and then himself. According to authorities, just 2 weeks ago on December 21st, Michael's wife filed for divorce, and ever since his mother-in-law had been supporting her. The children were ages 17 to 4 years old. Enoch, Utah is about 245 miles from Salt Lake City and is a really tight-knit community. City councilmen and other residents of the community are in complete shock and have described the Haidts as a wonderful family who were very well respected and well known in the area.
What will happen to the Idaho serial killer in prison? Let me explain something to you guys before I get into some facts, because I'm interested to see in the comments on how you guys feel. When you see guys like Chris Watts and all these other sick, sadistic motherfuckers smiling on the cameras like it's all good, what happens in prison when the media comes in is they clean house. They get rid of all the troubled inmates. They make it look like it's the cleanest, safest place on earth. And they tell a guy like Chris Watts or any of these other sick serial killers, sadistic motherfuckers, look, if you even say anything, we will fucking torture you. That's their life. They're getting completely just on a daily basis fucked with, tortured, starved, and beaten. But when that media comes in, give us a month, let the bruises heal, put a smile on, and shut the fuck up. That's what is in store for the rest of this guy's life. I promise you that. Now let's get into some facts on the case. What I find very interesting is that this guy was in school studying how to basically be the perfect serial killer. That means to me he's done this more than once. And with that animal, that dog that was ripped to shreds right around the corner from where all this happened, him living 10 minutes away, this wasn't just a spurge of the moment thing. And then they find later on that his mother wrote articles about how bad it was that they killed Ted Bundy. What kind of society are we? So he grew up with some weird ideology. And then after the crime, your dad, a senior citizen, is driving the car all the way to Pennsylvania? This might be an entire sick, sadistic family thing like that Rob Zombie movie. What I believe happened, the reason that the poor, innocent, beautiful woman was killed and hurt more than the others is because she fought back. And this guy is a coward. And I believe that they found his DNA underneath her fingernails. And after extensive genealogy research and phone records, they realized this motherfucker doesn't belong here. I believe he also was in contact with the BDK serial killer, that piece of shit. And I think there's some weird cult that they're all part of. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theory with this one. I don't know. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comments. But let me tell you something. In prison, you see these guys acting like nothing's going on. That's just for the cameras because they are scared to death. The second those cameras come off, they're beaten, extorted, shit on, even worse. So just know they do get their justice every single day in prison like they deserve. I'm interested to think and hear what you guys have to say about your feelings and your thoughts about this guy. This is some American Psycho Silence of the Lambs shit. What do y'all think? Us.
I need your feet on the ground, 'cause I keep doing things in the wrong way. Get stuck at the bottom. It's gotta be a better way. I got no patience to put the pieces back together. Doing all the things that bring me to the edge, and I can't stop. So when I lose myself, won't you hold me down? I got my head in the clouds, running.
Oh my god. Take pictures. Stop touching. Oh my god. Guys, I can find this. What the Oh. Can you confirm or deny that a window was broken in order to gain access into the home?
There were multiple windows. Ready to wipe?